Go! Greetings! I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together! Woohoo!
Yeah, here we go!
Faust's tail wraps around my hand once more, dropping me back into memory.
Oh.
Ooh! Oh. Well, I wish we didn't know this person because this would be so surprising. I'd be like, it's a boy! Oh.
But apparently we also know who they are.
But also we know who they are because it's got a name.
Yep.
Muriel. Please, don't go. You're walking right into his trap.
There you go with the pessimism. The precious resources I need, Muriel.
And when he rips your heart out, dramatic much.
What?
Can he do that?
He'll have to get to me first. He's weak and dying. What could he do?
Apparently remove your vital organs.
I mean, clearly we're talking about Lucio here. This is desperately Lucio. I'm also like, why is Muriel concerned about ripping your heart out? It's okay.
I'm again, though, going, this would be so great if you played it first because you wouldn't know who they were talking to. And there's more, this one with the flashbacks and the lack of context, there's more immediate mystery in than the other two routes we played.
Like I said, that this is really unusual.
You know what, though? It occurred to me. Okay, so just a short tangent. As we've played quite a few other dating games, there are some of them that are app games that what they do is they have a format of you have to play this route to unlock that route. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that doing that in here and controlling people's experience is not what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But if they had it so you had to date Asra first and then all of the other ones unlocked as soon as you did, it would probably work better with their story if it continues like this.
Yes, though, honestly, due to the fact that they're so different, like, even with the questions that I've had kind of like with Julian or with Nadia sometimes, there's stuff that's just completely irrelevant. You know, but that's because we were more interested in the story, I think, overall, compared to some people going, I just want to know about the characters.
I just want the love interest, yeah. And that is a little bit of a difference, okay.
Saw his medicine at me. He was dangerous once, I know, but I can handle him, Muriel. Really.
The lumbering figure lifts one steady hand as if to touch Asra's shoulder, hesitates, and drops it back to their side.
See, and that it fits actually more, going, the lumbering figure. Them, we're not exactly sure who they are, even though they give you the name dead away, but I'm like, this would be fascinating. I'm like, yeah, this is sort of wild. Actually, as a mystery, this seems to almost be working a little bit better. I'm kind of deeply, a mistake was made.
Somewhere excited about this route and a little more frustrated about the others.
Yes.
Without a word, they turn and exit the shop, awkwardly squeezing through the too small doorway. Suddenly think the doorway might be a little small.
Whoa. Sorry, Muriel. Some things you can't run away from.
Especially if the doors are too small. Then you cannot run because you are scooting.
Well, because then you have to be a little smaller.
Because you have to like crouch and twist
and wiggle.
And so it's not good
tuck in your butt
for running.
Tuck in your shoulders.
Think small thoughts.
Teeny thoughts, very little. Pretend you are a mouse. You sleep on the flower.
So mouse-eel?
Mouse-eel. That would be cute. And also it's really interesting because, okay, so in Nadia's route and in Asra's route, there was more of Muriel actually seeming to be more competent than what we'd basically encountered. Does that make sense? So when we've seen the opening stuff for
the original
prologues, the original prologue was even that one is hard to find. He's a complete mess. But the one that we initially started on, and then we did the second one, both of those actually seem a little weird. They're really just and you run around and you hassle him and he's a disaster, right? But he seems way more calm or just kind of a distant figure in both Nadia and Asra's routes. And even Julian's route, he's a little bit more leave me alone.
I mean, I don't know. I just get the impression that he would like everyone to go away.
No, and that's fine. I'm just saying, character-wise, it's really interesting because of, what it tries to say in a couple of different routes, and then you're hang on, wait, competent Muriel? What is this?
Another memory? Another vision of Asra's past. I only wish I could hear them from Asra himself. Also going, but we're standing there as a third person. We're not inside Asra's view.
I mean,
based on what they show on the visuals.
Oh, that's true.
Because you see Asra over here, and you see Muriel over there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Now, it could be like a dream where you're viewing it that way, even though you're not, like, there.
This is a memory. Then I should be in Asra's body. And hearing his thoughts.
If it's Asra's memory. Unless, again, it's you're observing, basically, the collected memory, but we attach it to Asra, even though it would be actually, like, the shop's memory.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What else are you hiding from me? I said gently to the book.
Hi. What else, book? Hello.
Book says nothing, but frowns at you because it was not designed to talk. Ha!
Faust speaking for the book. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Many things. I pick up the other book that caught my attention, but nothing happens.
Oh.
A bookshelf in the far corner calls to me, beckoning me closer with little wisps of Astra's magic.
Now, okay, well, I will say, at least for this, while there is more curiosity, like, this is actually one of the more, like, self-directed, I think, MCs I've seen so far.
There's much less of, I'm going to tell you what to do, but not having Nadia walk down and hire you, like, and then immediately direct you, which she doesn't do here, is interesting.
But, like, what's fascinating to me is I'm kind of going, so this is actually, like, this feels more like a character with a specific direction in mind, which is interesting, because, again, then you're still not able to actually play a character, you're playing whatever they wrote. Right. But it does really seem more like there are more ideas for what this character wants to do, because, as we mentioned, I think, earlier, going, like, hang on, why are we so concerned about what with Asra's hiding from us? Why do we care about this thing? Right. But it makes more sense in the context of the other, basically, routes, because it's like, oh, this is where all the questioning started, and then you're just supposed to probably assume that it carries on in those routes, but they don't bring it up in the same way.
Right.
So.
Beckoning me closer with little wisps of Astra's magic. I love that we're not actually looking at books or interested in the books. We're just following the feeling of Asra.
Look, it's Asra. Do I like books? No, I might not even be able to read.
Who knows? 2 more books catch my attention, waiting for a decision to be made.
Oh, so if you make a choice, you get one.
I'm guessing there's only 2 books that he's touched each time because you can only have a 2-part choice in this game.
Probably.
Asra, I must be very careful to only touch 2 of any one thing ever, because if someone ever follows my trail, they will not be able to look at more than 2 things.
That's very important. This is the way I set up with Solitaire. I've learned the methods of how this works. The Arcana are very picky that way. Yep. You must have only yes or no.
Yeah, it's a dichotomy at all times.
At all times.
Even if they're not directly opposed.
Yeah, yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, a gilded monstrosity, or the alluring volume.
Not a, it's the gilded monstrosity, or the alluring volume. Alluring. Well, the thing is if it's alluring, is it luring me? Would be the thing.
I mean, if it is alluring, that means that it is appealing to you.
So then I
the
would
gilded monstrosity sounds like something that is supposed to be, because gilded monstrosity
makes you uncomfortable.
So this is how sometimes language can inform character, which is really cool, and you can actually use to great effect. Now, I think that's actually one of the big problems, though, we had kind of with a lot of this game was just going like, your language suggests that this is the best choice, but you have to give us 2 choices, quote, have to.
Or that the character wants this one.
Right.
And what I'm getting is the character wants the alluring volume. On the other hand, if you assume that they're both magically feeling the way they're labeled, like it feels magically like a gilded monstrosity, and this one feels magically alluring, and then you're filtering that with going, they both feel like Asra, and so you need that greater context, not just these things in a void. Right. Then you can go, okay, which of these would be more of something that I would be curious about in reference to Asra? And is Asra the type of person who would want to know something if it's alluring? Is that more open, more inviting of this is a thing I'm actually inviting people to know about me, or I was having a more open experience when I was touching this book? Right. A more either vulnerable or connected or emotionally available one.
Right. I would also be a little confused, because would that mean then that each of these books, because they all contain specific, I guess, memories seems to be the implication here, that they are connected to very specific people? Like, that's what it just sounds like to me. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I gotta tell you, for me, Gilded Monstrosity sounds like Lucio.
I should say, that's the other thing, is that if you're not being in the story and you're meta...
If you're metagaming,
you could be like, each one of these books sounds like it represents one of the characters in the book. And the alluring volume's probably Nadia.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Especially if they're put next to each other.
But there was the Purple Codex.
Oh, purple is Nadia. So
that's
the alluring
Nadia.
one would be... Huh.
Is that just like Asra himself?
I don't know, but I'm super very curious now.
I mean, but even just like...
But also, like, since they're a pair, it seems like they might be next to each other?
Maybe, but, so we had Muriel with one. Who's the pair with Muriel?
Doesn't mean those one would have to be paired. It just means in the case of a married couple, they might be. Because that's a thing people do constantly.
I mean, I would still rather pick Nadia then, but...
I would say, I'd rather pick the alluring volume. So, in all of the possible interpretations, except for stepping out in metagaming, as far as Astra potentially being more open, or actually setting something here that is inviting, I would choose the alluring volume.
I was also, though, gonna say, like, I don't understand, like, how exactly he's created these memories, or how they've even inadvertently happened.
How they have latched themselves onto these objects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to know, but I imagine it never will be explained.
I was hoping it would be, whether he has a particular connection to books, or when he was using this library there was something going on, or whether he was actually, like, storing them in places for reasons.
Right. But the fact also that it was like, we went to his shop instead of stayed here in the library.
Well, and the first one was out in the garden, not attached to a specific object.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Alluring volume.
Let's give it a shot, because
alluring volume.
What was this one for you, then?
He lifts up a cobalt shirt with a deeply plunging neckline and raises an eyebrow at me.
Because we can also giggle at our own character designs, because everybody's got a deeply plunging neckline.
Everyone! So good. I was just like, they are pro-cleavage in the Arcana. All forms of cleavage.
Oh,
Yes.
titties mash.
Yep, I was gonna say, this is a pro-cleavage game, in case anyone needs to know, oh yeah, you should try the Arcana. The character designs are great, it's very pro-cleavage.
They really just like titty.
Yep. Outside, I can hear the sounds of the masquerade. A joyous cheers and the chatter of bustling crowds moving about. Wait, how am I seeing this? That's Asra, as the one he's speaking to is me. But it can't be. It's as if I'm watching myself from someone else's eyes? What's happening?
It's your color. Aye. Okay, so we just now have decided that your main character looks really good in cobalt, according to Asra.
And that's okay?
And that's okay. I'm like, but remember where we've talked about this going...
That's his opinion.
But it is also important to kind of go like, would you say that for all, basically, ethnicities of main characters?
All people. Are they an autumn or a summer?
Are you a winter or a spring?
Right. The stupid colors for clothing and all of that stuff. Oh my god, fashion is amazing.
It's your color.
Huh. Past Kohai.
Oh,
here we go. They've explained it. You say that about every color.
You think I look beautiful no matter what I wear?
Correct. Yes.
If you think I do, yes.
Yes.
Can't help it, Kohai. You look radiant in everything.
That's adorable. That's so cute.
Fine. What about this one?
It's also your color.
Oh, God.
Loud, gaudy patterns assault my eyes as he presents me with some sort of rainbow cheetah print tunic. Suddenly the name Richard, oh god, what is it? Richard Simmons? Is that the one that does the exercise aerobics thing?
Yes, that's Richard Simmons.
Yes.
But I'm also like,
and then I do not know what that name means, and it passes.
But I'm like, culturally, rainbow cheetah print, for one, tunic. You've mashed together a bunch of things that I would be astounded by culturally, because they'd be like, one of the, okay, so if you don't know, in a lot of places, typically having a lot of color for a lot of your clothes, or even very strong, very striking, very bright, brilliant color, you'd be like, holy shit, you have so much money!
Yes, I say, dye is expensive. Like, there have been wars fought over dye.
Yes!
On the other hand, perhaps in the world of the Arcana, dye is exceedingly, ridiculously common, easy to make, and easy to make vibrantly.
Especially considering the fact that everybody here is very colorful.
And everybody, even from different areas, is extremely colorful. And even hair is extremely colorful. So I would tend to say that based on the canon information, even a, quote, humble shopkeep can have purple fabric draped about their shop.
Right.
That dye here is not expensive or challenging.
Which is...
But I would wonder where you would get the idea for rainbow cheetah print. Now, I get it. It can be a meme. It can be a joke. Yes. But if you're staying in the world and not having an outside joke, I've never seen historically rainbow fabrics anywhere.
Yeah, that's why
that was a very modern convention. The reason
that's why I said that's a really interesting mishmash of things. Okay, because one, you have cheetah print.
Yes.
You don't just have a cheetah patterned hide, because most people didn't make prints weren't really that kind of thing.
They weren't prints of animals, coats. What they were is they're prints that were culturally relevant. They were patterns that meant things. They were shapes that meant things.
So that's why kind of like my brain is like, are we making fun of, what's her name from
Lisa
the 90s?
Frank?
Lisa Frank?
I think so.
Because I'm like, some people honestly also thought that stuff was pretty fashionable.
And they loved it.
They loved the hell out of it.
It had such an explosion, and if you don't know who Lisa Frank is, just search. There's a lot of like, there literally are rainbow leopards, rainbow Dalmatians, rainbow ice cream cones,
rainbow fish, rainbow
unicorns everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, it was back when like sticker crazes were a thing.
Oh God,
is that a thing I can say? Okay.
But yeah, I'm just like, okay, so your technology of rainbow, being able to actually create a rainbow in fabric, which is actually way more difficult than it sounds, and a cheetah print tunic.
Wow.
Holy shit!
Or like the level of clothing technology.
I think honestly you'd be like, oh my God, this is the most expensive thing I have ever fucking seen in my life, except for the fact that clearly we're supposed to take this as a joke, but that's why I was also pointing out that having actually really intense, vibrant color, and a lot of it in this case, would probably be like, holy crap!
Question! What if it's embroidered rainbow cheetah print instead of dyed? That could make more sense.
Oh God,
so much more expensive.
So much work.
It'd be thousands of hours of work.
Having to sew this, having to embroider it,
and layer the colors and the texture of the. Okay, so I've seen this thing before. Pardon one more tangent. Okay, but we're gonna go into a little bit of like fashion history real quick. So I've seen this thing before where somebody will take an art history. A really simple, like pop culture, cheesy, I say in quotes, kind of thing, and then make an extremely high art version of it, one that takes thousands of hours of traditional artisan crafting to do, and it's amazing how they fucking look. It's so freaking cool. And so if instead of having like this thin black, like fabric store kind of, thing with this rainbow, cheetah spots on it, just dyed in, you have this hand-woven silk with this embroidered in, like the textured rainbow patterned spots, and they have, like you can run your hand over them and feel the texture of the embroidering and the spots. Like that would look
the most
so
delicate
phenomenal.
of expensive fades.
Yes.
Hot damn. I guess why would this be considered to be gaudy?
And then you go gaudy because it's your personal opinion. Now it could be you think it's gaudy because Asra thinks it's gaudy, but also it could be not you inside your head back then, and you going, from what I've experienced now, that's gaudy, because I just haven't been exposed to that much.
Right. I mean, and that could be also one of those things where you might actually be using gaudy in the sense of going, this is above my station. Like, this is way too much.
It's just a lot.
Because also, so one of the things that I think is really fascinating about the Arcana, and that sort of left me sometimes at odds with some of it, is that, like, the people don't wear clothing basically according to their class. That's actually far more common in previous eras, like comparing modern day to in our world to previous eras. So like, and the other thing is this too, is even like the fact that like JULIAN wears really stark black like colors is really interesting. Like the white is incredibly expensive, and also like the sheer black is really damn expensive too. But it's also like, I gotta tell you, a lot of people who did like Victorian style stuff, they had incredibly fucking gaudy colors. Like if you've actually seen real Victorian wear, it is obnoxiously bright sometimes.
So the big criticism of people who actually study Victorian fashion and the steampunk movement aesthetic is they're going, everything you have is in brown. There were so many colors, you'd be fucking butterflies, you'd be goddamn flowers running about.
And you would think it looked awful, but they loved the shit out of it.
That was the style of the time. And if you look up like a Victorian fashion, and on Tumblr there's some really nice Victorian fashion blogs that just have preserved dresses in museums and stuff like that. They're so fucking bright. Some of them like bright, just brilliant yellow and green vertical stripes on this
salmon
dress.
Pink dresses.
Yep.
Oh god. But the thing is like, it does leave me kind of lost. I want to know, like, is like, that is how people would go.
Okay.
So, I have the ability to buy basically prettier, more starkly crisp clothing, so my clothing has more color and style, so therefore everybody knows that I'm rich.
That
but
was the next
tell.
thing I was going to say here was actually, I was going to say, if nobody has a station for dressing, and also nobody's clothing is affected by their economic circumstances, then it's really interesting. Like, is clothing just available to anybody everywhere?
I feel like it's the Orientalism sneaking in, if I'm going to get meta here. But
all right,
Tunic!
Tunic! Asra, do you want me to blind people?
I'm already blinded by your beauty.
You're adorable. Why are you so cute? Asra!
How is that helpful?
It's helpful because if you don't remember it, then that's mysterious for you playing it. Now, again, I'm going to approach this route from two different directions. The first one being, hey, we're building on the other two routes to understand the world of the Arcana. And the second one being, what would this be like if I'd played it by myself for the first time as much as possible?
Right.
And that would be like, okay, so we're talking here about there's shit in my life that I don't remember happened. And since I seem chill, it's probably not like oh, you're too stressed, you just don't remember that happening.
I mean, except for the fact that we weren't for a period of time. Remember that when we were going to initially leave the fountain? And there was that panic of going, but I need to talk to Asra! Remember?
But maybe I do. But I was just saying, the thing is also the framing of the game, the music of the game, it says everything's chill, right?
Yes.
So, your atmosphere says you're chill. And going, I don't remember that kind of thing. And then just going, it's another piece of the mystery building. You know, you've got things about a person you're attached to, because you've just learned you're attached to a person called Asra, even though you don't know how.
Yeah.
I was going to say that you're learning, and that he is mysterious, and that you're curious, you as a character are very curious about him, and also that you've been involved with him in ways that you can't remember.
So what you're saying is that this is the first book, and in the first book you also have to find out who the main character is, despite the fact that you're also playing the main character.
Correct. Because you don't walk out every day and go, hello, my name is Lies, I am of a specific age, and I am cis.
And a specific height.
I am an established height, and I am heading to my established job, and this is what I know about me, and then head out into the world. You don't do that. You just go, I'm going to get in the car. Am I late? No? Okay, remember to close the garage. Are the lights on? Is there anyone behind me? Okay, how's the road conditions? I tell nothing about myself in my head, period. Like, my head is a disaster if I'm going somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Asra and I have never attended a masquerade together.
The masquerade.
Oh, the masquerade. Of that much I'm certain. We didn't know each other when the city last celebrated it, but I know the city used to have the masquerade. Did we? Perhaps I was very young? It was easier that time to drop into memory. I feel as if I'm starting to get used to the strange magic. Strange magic. Here. All right. More warnings for uncomfortable snake behaviors. And I'm glad people have been enjoying the snake facts.
Yes.
If we have more of them, we will share them as they arise.
Yes.
In the meantime, Faust is a good fictional baby.
Quite.
Faust slithers onto Julian's desk and looks expectantly at me.
Here.
I say, we know who Julian is. Okay.
Here.
She nudges her head against a final book. An oversized red tome covered in dust.
Okay, I also have to say that the writing in this is very different.
It does.
Have you noticed? Like,
really
they
different.
felt like that. Like, this is one of those. Okay, so sometimes when you get to know an author well enough, you can actually pick where you go, oh, you had a good day. This is a good editing day. And then you kind of go, this is a weird editing day. Or we're super inspired, all of this ripped all the way out immediately, and then you just kind of go, oh, and then you dropped off there. That was where you lost your inspiration.
Well, and my thought was, when approaching the Arcana, was that this story, Asra's story, was sort of what sparked the idea of the whole thing. And so that's where the initial inspiration came from, and then they started building around him. I don't know if that's actually how it happened, but that's the feel I get from my experience, just being exposed to writers and books and things like that.
What if it also wasn't even just that? It was the fact that initially all there was going to be was just Asra. And then, like, and I'm talking about the very, very, very beginning. They thought that it might be neat to have everybody else, but, like, I'm not kidding. I think Asra's story, as some people have said and kind of agreed with us, we're pretty sure was the beginning story, which is why it's probably better if you're going to play the series, you should do Asra first.
Well, and what I was going to say is that's this kind of thing of going, if that was your inspiration, a lot of writers are much more smooth when they're deeply inspired.
Yeah.
They know exactly where they're going, what they're doing, instead of going, well, how should this... You don't overthink it.
Yeah.
She nudges her head against it, covered in dust. I walk over to the desk and run my hand over its cover, revealing its title. I can read.
Or at least I can read this.
Composium on the stupendices of the fabric of the human form. It looks well used and heavily annotated. I assume I have lifted the cover, or there are little tags everywhere in between the pages.
Not everybody annotates in the same way.
They're dog-eared and I'm judging him. Do not fold the books? Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
When last I was here, the book held no magic. Now it seems to whisper my name in the still air. Book.
Faust. Sorry.
Looks at the book, touches the book, dusts the cover off. Faust, up by your ear.
Yes, exactly. I want Faust to basically be narrating this. It's not that there isn't magic there, but it's like Faust is channeling everything. Going, I feel this.
Yeah, Faust is just the element of the magic. Yes,
and you just look at the snake going.
The method, yes. Snake. And you're like,
I'm completely innocent. Did you?
Same thing also, like Faust just gently humming the theme music.
Little tail wiggling time to their own music.
Opening his pages sends another cloud of dust blowing upwards. I'm deeply grateful that I do not have allergies, otherwise it wouldn't be obscuring my vision so much as ruining it for hours while I can't breathe and snot runs out of my face and I have...
Oh, so you're saying you have extreme allergic reaction. You think Kohai has allergies?
That's what I said, does not have allergies. I'm very grateful that I do not have allergies.
Oh, good. Kohai is like, I'm going to do this thing, Faust down at the bottom. Blows it in your face.
Yep. Obscuring my vision. That is a lot of dust. I close my eyes just as I feel Faust's tail around my wrist. And when I open them again, Faust is a slap bracelet. Yes! Okay, but if there's going to be Arcana merch, can we get a Faust slap bracelet?
Honestly, that would be really cute.
That'd be so much fun. I don't know if everyone knows what a slap bracelet is, but like, my mom gave me a couple when I was a kid, and they really are just this straight, like, basically metal thing covered in like plastic or fabric, and you just take it and you smack it against your wrist and it curls in a loop around it.
And it holds itself there by using the magnets.
No.
Inside, yeah, it does, because it's got magnets inside of it. That's
not a slap bracelet I ever had.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had slap bracelets recently, I know.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about an older slap bracelet, I guess. Anyways, it was basically just the metal was flexed in one position or flexed in another.
Yeah.
Sort of like if you take like the...
I mean, I've had older ones too, but like what I had recently.
Pops one direction or the other. Yeah, I didn't even know they had ones with magnets. Oh my god.
No, that's not quite right, is it? There must be something I'm missing. Asra?
Asra! Asra glances up from his nest of pillows on the floor. He does like to be so comfortable.
Look at him.
He is always so snuggly, it drives me crazy. Julian gives a mildly
Gives Julian
a mildly interested look. Yeah, but Julian is looking at him interestedly as well. He looks very comfy. I would be. And then goes back to his book, like a cat.
What do you think? If I try to mix its venom with this solution here, is it worth a shot? No, that would make porous papers. Damn! Something else in. There has to be.
We can cure the plague with leeches. Sorry.
I've done it.
I tried. It's a different breed of leeches.
It's also, okay, so part of the reason I kind of absently make fun of this is because there is kind of a level where it just sort of, it is that feeling where sometimes if you know particularly about a field of like work or labor or whatever it is, and you watch people in the movies talk about it, you go, it sounds a little bit like this. It sounds nonsensical. So part of the reason also that I feel more like Julian sounds a little goofy is because like he's just written, like, he's supposed to know all these things, but if you have any awareness of how this stuff works, it gets strange.
Okay, so my friend made this fabulous comic not too long ago about Julian, sort of summarizing his character, if you will, where he's just in, a bar or a pub, right? And he's just like, I'm gonna like fight and I'm gonna flirt and I'm gonna drink and have an amazing time. And then later he goes, to his doctors, to his clinic with the other doctors, and he's like, hello, how are things? How's it going? As he's buttoning into his doctor's clothes, and they're like, well, a knife fight, 3 people injured. And it's the fight he had earlier against the patrons he was brawling with. And he's like, oh God, surprise Pikachu face. What? And it's like, we've talked about how he is at odds with the, I want to be a doctor, I am a doctor, and then going, you don't behave like you like you want to doctor because you really literally want to hurt people. No, but only the tough guys that challenge me.
So do you have a masculinity issue? That you need to go fight other men, that it's required to prove yourself?
So what he's seeing here is that you need to only be medically assistive to theys and she's.
Great.
Lovely. Are you deeply sexist against yourself? It's fine.
Why do you hate yourself so much?
His self-hatred was his entire root.
Yes.
Julian trails off. Okay. Horny and self-hatred. Leaning over to scribble something in the book. After a moment, he sighs and leans back in his chair.
I think I've got something. Come, look at this, would you? I'm so close, I can feel it. I could use your eyes.
Asra sighs and stands slowly, lazily stretching out his back before padding barefoot over to Julian's desk. We can never have a cat because Asra is so perfectly just fluid and languid and stretchy, and I like him.
So this is also really strange. Even for what I do know, why is Asra so disinterested? There's a level of because he looks up at him, and then just looks back at the book and is like,
Here's my question.
I'm like, why are you so mean to Julian?
One,
there's this weird level of I'm superior?
Or I just don't care. I was going to say, why are you here?
Yeah.
Here's the question, Asra. If you don't care what Julian's doing, and you're not interested in his thoughts, and you find him irritating and clingy, and or just him being playful is me walking the other fucking direction.
Right.
Why are you here with him, hanging around him? Have you been assigned by Nadia? Both of you, work on the plague together. Do it. Okay.
Even though it almost in some fashion as well sounds kind of like Asra, because he has no interest, is probably not very good at this, or he might be not very good at this. I don't know, it just seems that's actually one question I was never able to get answered, and maybe we'll get it here, but going why was Asra involved?
Yeah, why is Asra working with Julian, or around Julian while Julian's working, which is what seems like it is. And Asra could be doing his own work with the books, for sure, but they don't seem like they're working together, so why are they in the same space?
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Also going sometimes the things you're reading in the books are literally useless. You're just kind of reading because you were I don't have any connection. So you have to think about, the modern library system is a fucking marvel.
It is.
It really is. So one of the hardest things to do research for or in is old books.
Yes.
Because they are not where we try to do nowadays, or at least in the United States, where we try to have more organized topics.
And indexes, and when people go, what is this book about? So if you actually do, so one of my other many hobbies is old books and old literature, and I follow several really old bookshops on different blogs, including the Michael Moon bookshop, which has some really cool stuff.
Oh god, that shit's pretty
beautiful, and also a real flair for art and presenting them.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the thing is a lot of the older books, and when you read about how writing used to work, they didn't have any structured format of start with this piece of information, move to the next piece of information, and continue on in it what we would consider an educational, instructive fashion.
Right.
They were just writing whatever they knew as they thought about it.
So it's like you're just doing your journal entries, stream of thought, here's this thing, here's that thing. I conducted all these studies, here's all my notes, and then they'll be and then today we did this completely different thing sometimes. And
that reminds me of this other thing. It's not like the organized tangents that we're used to. Storytelling and information dissemination, as it has come to be known in modern written literature,
at least in the United States,
is exceedingly different than it used to be. And it's progressed in all cultures. Some of them having more organization than others, as far as collection of specific teaching knowledge. But a lot of it really was about telling stories more than it was about commuting scientific knowledge.
I mean,
in your original oral legends, and you're developing into writing.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well, the thing is so when you were doing a lot of oral traditions, a lot of them based on, my understanding, is actually based on, like, moralistic tales. So they were actually there to teach you how to basically function as a person. Yeah, and then a lot of, basically, so what started out with people being able to, one, even have access to write their own fucking books, it was typically people who had money.
A lot of money.
Like, so all of your stuff was very highly specifically geared towards a certain class of people, which I think is very interesting here, because, like, then that would imply that somehow Julian has extreme backing, even though in his story he seems to be basically, he came out of nowhere kind of thing, because he had no connections. Huge spoilers for his stuff, but like, so now he had this access to basically this higher class of knowledge, which might have been completely fucking useless for what he wanted to do.
I say one of the things I really wanted to know about his route that they didn't answer was just how he went to university, how he ended up,
or how was he ever educated in the way that he was?
Yeah,
like, what does his education look like?
How did he end up getting his education as a doctor, and what did it look like?
Yeah.
At any rate, so yes, trying to study in old libraries and actually find what you were looking for was a ridiculous task, and modern organizational codex, even the paper ones, but also the computer ones, as well as the driving of the industry towards organized information in a specific like logical way, so that brains can uptake it quickly, is very modern.
Yeah,
but relatively new.
Yes, and also this is another reason why I say, hey, guess what? Please support your local libraries.
Please
if you have them. They're incredibly helpful. And oh my God, if you need help with research papers, you need help getting information, you need help getting community supplies, guess what? Your library is there for you. Many of them actually, that's what they do. They're basically public social workers who can help you organize shit.
I was gonna say, and a lot of them will actually offer like free, like you can check out a pass to local exhibits and activities. They'll also rent movies and CDs, and this is American libraries specifically, where you can get music and audiobooks and video games.
Video games.
We check out video games.
Like, oh my God. Anyway, so we're also going to stop here. Thank you
very
very much, everybody.
But at any rate, we are very curious about why and how Asra and Julian are working together, and we are liking the mystery in this so much, and Kohai super likes Asra. Here we go.
Yeah, and Kohai would just be paying attention to Asra, and Asra, I feel like, I'm still like, why are you so mean to him? It's actually really interesting. I'm like, what is this buddy?
What is the friction?
What is Asra smacking a head against, basically, where Julian's like, I don't notice. Hey, could you help me? And him going, I can't hear. You know, okay, so thank you very much, everybody, though, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Please also, again, no spoilers. The only routes we've played has been Julian's route, NADIA'S route, and now we're just starting Asra's.
Which we know nothing about.
Which we do not know anything about. We can make some educated guesses, because we have played the other routes, but other than that, who knows? Anyway, please also feel free to go interact with the video. It does a lot for us. Please also feel free to check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch.
Yes.
Where you will find a Kohai. No, I'm kidding. And I've been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!